for here. UFC Vancouver just took place. Let me know if I'm too low, but I think I should be good. UFC Vancouver just took place, guys. We saw Reiner De Ridder, who I honestly thought, look, this could be the next guy up against Hamzat, the guy to beat Hamzat. Maybe this is him. He comes from another organization, coming back or coming to the UFC, debuting. The whole thing goes up in flames in 0.5 seconds, guys. I mean, this is you just can't make this up at this point. It's like literally, like I feel like there's always I'm like, nah, DDP, the guy to beat Hamzat. Nah. Okay, Reiner De Ridder, we're back at square one. He's lost. Brendan Allen, I don't think he's gonna beat Hamzat Chimaev. I don't even know who else is there. I mean, there's Nasser Imavov. I don't think he's gonna beat Hamzat. Hamzat probably got the biggest W of tonight. I already see you guys were typing in the chat. I appreciate y'all being patient. I did try to start a little before 11:30. Got a little after 11:30. Tomb Goblin. Well, let's get into it. Let's just get into it. But I want to shout out Finally One and John Dong. What's up, guys? My bad for the wait. You know what I'm saying? But what do you call it? So what happened? Okay, guys. UFC Vancouver took place. We all know Brandon Allen and Reiner De Ridder main event. They fought, right? And the first round, I thought Reiner De Ridder looked good. I thought, okay, this is, he's probably going to win, okay? Round two, Brendan Allen's winning. And I was like, that's probably like a fluke round. Like, I think he just got a good position. And okay, we're going to start to see Reiner De Ridder. And then we'll get to round three. And I'm like, wait, could Brendan Allen actually win this thing? Because I don't know. I just did not think Brendan Allen was going to win. I thought that this was, first of all, Brendan Allen took it on short notice. There was that, of course. And also, like, Reiner De Ridder has looked like a beast. I mean, like, he looked really good against, I thought, Whitaker. I did not think he was going to, I don't know. I don't know who I picked against Whitaker, but I definitely was hesitant if he was going to beat him. And for him to go lose to this guy, I mean, Anthony Hernandez must be upset because if Anthony Hernandez was in there tonight, he would have stopped him way earlier and legit. I think. That's my opinion. I mean, Anthony Hernandez, I don't know if he's someone that could beat Hamzat, but he is someone that I think is underrated in the division for sure, bro. I mean, Anthony Hernandez is actually, he's legit. Like, he is like a kind of like a Cain Velasquez, of the middleweight division, in my opinion. I think he could be something, and I think he's going to be one of those guys to slowly grind up. Let's see what you guys are saying. Tonight was my luckiest night of betting. Bet Nelson's fight to go to distance, even though the ref stopped it. Bet Mannon's fight to end via stoppage, and bet Holland's fight to go to distance. Yeah, well, the Holland fight, I'm sure you were sweating with that. We'll talk about the kick there. And Mannon's fight ending via stoppage, that was a... that actually was a good bet. Yeah, for sure. I don't know what was you got to tell me the line on that because that is a fair bet because I feel like, Jazz Davicius has been getting a lot of finishes, and you also have Manon Figueroa, who honestly hasn't gotten a lot of finishes, but let's be real, the striking difference there is enough to kind of, say, hey, maybe there will be a knockout. And yeah, so you definitely benefited. Did Reiner just not train for this fight? 100. So that's also what I want to talk about. So let me finish up. So then we got to round 3 of that main event. And it just seems like, yeah, like that we're seeing Reiner De Ridder, I'm just going to call him RDR, slow down. And like he's literally like taking forever to get up. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Personally, here's my thing. I wouldn't be surprised if he was injured. I mean, I think that, maybe he also overlooked Brandon Allen a little bit because I did see, this week he was saying how he was disappointed that, Fluffy pulled out and all that. So maybe he just, he didn't, honestly, Brandon Allen wasn't respected. I think now, obviously, maybe there's a little more respect. Personally, I mean, I don't really think that this win is all that big just because I kind of do think that, Reiner De Ridder was injured. I think RDR might have been injured because it's like, damn, like, how did you go from, like, the Robert Whitaker fight where Robert Whitaker is really good and then you go to this? It's insane. Realize says 5 weight cuts in 12 months is a lot. That's actually fair, too. And that's also a great point as well. Maybe it was just, maybe it was just too much that way. But I also want to be, and also with all those training camps will come injuries. So, honestly, I think he probably was injured. You never know. He really could have broke a rib, bro. Like, really, in round 1, round 2, you don't know. Let's see what else, guys. Also, bet the main event to go over 3.5 rounds. I thought people were underrating Allen's BJJ too much. No, I'm I didn't think so. Did you guys think that Allen was going to win? Because I honestly thought that De Ridder was going to win. I think I would have probably said it's fair that it's gonna go to a finish. I don't know if I imagined it. I thought that De Ridder was gonna get a knockout, so that was kind of where I was leaning. I thought maybe he would kind of keep it on the feet and get a knockout or something. That was my prediction. Or he maybe would take it to the ground and mix it up and stuff like that. But let's see. Fluffy pulled out because he was injured. But do you think that even injured Fluffy would beat RDR? Honestly, maybe, dude. Honestly. I mean, I actually kind of do think so because, first of all, Fluffy is really good. And I think that maybe RDR was injured here. I don't know. And part of me does wonder, he's injured. I think that he definitely lost some motivation when he found out he had this new opponent. Brendan Allen isn't as respected as I just said. He isn't a top contender. If you beat Fluffy, you're gonna title shot easy, boom. And I still think he probably would have gotten a title shot if he would have beaten Brendan Allen, even if it was a decision. I mean, maybe not because you do have Nasruddin Imavov, but I think that RDR I think fans would kind of go that way. At least me. I would rather have seen if RDR won tonight, RDR Hamzat opposed to Imavov Hamzat. That's my opinion, but I don't know. Maybe y'all don't share that. Let's see what else y'all are saying. Mannon's fight ending by stoppage was plus 260. It wasn't even Manon winning either. It was either of them winning by stoppage. That's a good deal. Yeah, that's a really good. Yeah, that is insane. That's an insane odds. And that's what it is. And especially when you're an MMA fan, like if you bet to, like sometimes you see there are crazy odds. Like it's like what? Like these odds that like slip through the cracks. It's like, bro, come on. Like that's ridiculous to think that it's like that impossible for a certain thing to happen. It'll happen all the time. I'm trying to think of one. There was one I did on the channel when we did like last year. We were doing like a lot of betting content on the streams. We talk. I would always have like, yo, let's find. Maybe I'll bring it back or something like that. But because that would be cool to do because it was fun to do. It was fun to check myself. But hopefully we could do it with a sponsor, bro. We need a new sponsor. So let's look. Hopefully someone could sponsor this new idea. But although we would lose them a lot of money, to be honest, because I find some fire picks. Oh, it was Bryce Mitchell by knockout, guys. It was like plus 500 against who's the guy? Gracie, not Royce Gracie, but I forgot his name now. But you guys know who I'm talking about. The dude that fights, that literally he just pulls guard, and he's like a Gracie. You know what I'm saying? All he does is do jiu-jitsu. He went up to fight Bryce Mitchell. It was plus 500. I got the line at plus 500 knockout because I was like, bro, like first of all, we've seen Bryce Mitchell actually kind of hurt Topuria on the feet. And this guy sucks on the feet, period. And I think that Bryce Mitchell will probably dominate him, and I think it's a safe bet knockout. And it was his first knockout in his career. So it was a bit risky, perhaps, in that regard, but honestly, I was really confident that it was going to happen. Kron Gracie. Yes, you're right. 1,000% it is Kron Gracie. Let's see what else you guys are saying. That's a fair bet. I think all women's MMA fights, this card ended via stoppage. That doesn't happen very often. No, more often than not, it does go to a decision. But I don't know. I think I don't know how the odds are really for finishes in women MMA. Honestly, I feel like I do check that a lot because I feel like when I am confident a fight will finish. I'm trying to think of one recently that I thought was gonna finish. I think I actually wound up being wrong, but I did bet and I was like, oh come on, this has to end via finish, but it didn't. But it was one of them, and I feel like usually with women MMA they overblow the lines a lot of the time, because I don't know, especially undercard. Come on, when the fighters are not as known, come on, there's going to be errors, in the odds. It's just what's gonna happen. They can't actually some of the odds can't make sense. It's will happen, of course. If I think it's not gonna happen, or it's unlikely, if it's let me not say if I don't think, because sometimes I'll bet on things that I don't think will happen because I think the odds are just that good. But it's what do you call it? I think it just depends on the circumstance, honestly, with betting, Let's see what else you guys are saying, because I don't want to keep talking about betting. Oh, sure. Can you guys see me or whatever? I don't know. I think there's a glitch, but I think it'll get fixed. I thought RDR. Oh, no, let me see. RDR thought he could 100-0 him in a round and blew his cardio to get the round 1 finish. You think that's what happened? I mean, he did like give a lot of energy in round 1, but I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's possible, really. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of money. Oh no. Let me see. I skipped way ahead. Thought RDR would smoke him. Thought RDR would win too, but I was predicting RDR to win in the later rounds. Unfortunately, I don't bet a lot of money, so I didn't make a whole lot tonight. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't bet a lot of money either. I feel like at the end of the day, it's really just like, just have fun with it. Don't bet too much that like, yo, you're gonna cry the next day. I hope y'all could see me, because I don't know what's going on right now, but yeah, if y'all, okay, I think y'all could see me. Okay, I think it's good connection now. What do you call it? Okay, so what else happened at UFC Vancouver, or what else are you guys talking about? RDR? Did I miss anything? I thought RDR would win too, but okay, no, yeah, but in the later rounds, I didn't think the later rounds. I don't know. I thought it would happen like round 3, round 4, so I guess that is kind of the later rounds. I didn't think it would be early, but I thought I thought it would be a lot of standing up, a lot of mixing it up, a lot of breaking down Allen and then getting the finish, but. I don't know. I didn't really think that Allen. Allen's lost a lot of fights, so this is a really big win for him. I didn't know how much he had left in the tank, honestly, and I think a lot of people doubted. Don't be like MMA Che, who's like 20K in debt because he gambled so much on fights. Who I don't know who is Let me see MMA Che. Actually, I'll look that up later. I don't need to look up every single guy, but that's crazy being 20K. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I understand it though. Like, I feel like the thing about me is I'm not even above it. Like, I honestly do feel like I could become a gambling addict, like for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I could, and that's why like I try to like limit myself, a little bit. Like, honestly, I don't know what else could I be addicted to. Like, I mean, definitely, I feel like I could be addicted to gambling for sure. Like, yo, when I'm in like the when I was young, like in the arcade. Like, it would always be like, nah, I just need one more chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need one more chance to win it, So I feel like I definitely could be like, honestly, what's really dangerous? Yo, I always man, I feel like me looking at like DraftKings, it's like the devil speaking to me. It's like, yo, it's like the fucking like casino app. Like, that is like the last thing I need. Oh yeah, it's addicting. Nah, it'd be, but you know what it is? I feel like I limit it, and especially me, one thing about myself too, I have now like rules that like I've definitely like have learned over the time that like I have been sports gambling. Like, I don't really gamble unless like I'm at an event, like another sports event or something big like a Super Bowl or something like that. I don't bet on other sports that I don't watch. So I really only watch MMA, boxing, right? So I'm not gonna bet on like NBA. At least not anymore. Sometimes, sometimes like I would just see like a game, be like, yo, fuck it, let's do it. And then, yeah, lose. The Super Bowl, I actually I don't really know anything about football. I actually did win a lot there. But yeah, it's addicting. And be careful, So what do you call it, guys? Let's talk about the UFC Vancouver a little more, because I do want to talk about, I did hint at it a little bit earlier, and we were talking about it earlier in the chat, so I wanted to go back to it. Kevin Holland, bro. Like, honestly, so Kevin Holland, like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Kevin Holland, because I do love, like, I love Kevin Holland, but I just also hate Kevin Holland at the same time. Like, it's like a really, like, toxic love-hate relationship. But hate is definitely way too strong. It's more just disappointment as a fan, and it's just upsetment, because there was a point in time where deadass, guys, and I probably, in the time of me doing YouTube, for sure. I mean, I had to be, because, you definitely have been doing this for a minute now at this point. So, yeah, at one point, like, even doing YouTube, there's probably videos of me saying, yo, Kevin Holland is, like, my favorite fighter, because he was, like, my favorite fighter. In 2020, I fucked with him heavy. I followed him way, after that, like, through every fight. Like, I did fuck with Kevin Holland a lot. And at a certain point, though, it just became, like, you're being I felt like he was being a dickhead to, like, journalists and shit. I felt like, there was a whole thing with Rampage happened last year that was kind of like, okay, that's the final nail in the coffin. I feel like, truthfully, Kevin Holland has had issues with, losing with, I don't know what it is. Like, I really don't know. I feel like I don't understand himself. I don't like being, him being like a dick to journalists, just asking him questions. Like, they're just trying to do a job. At least that's my opinion. And also, we've seen Adesanya do it Like, bro, these people are just trying to do their jobs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I understand if, like, yo, like, if someone's trying to, like, I don't know, like, instigate, even though I'm not saying I personally think that's wrong, and I'm not even saying I wouldn't do it, like, ask somebody a instigating question, because I understand why someone would also ask it. But I understand being mad about that. But it's like, dude, you're getting mad. Like, yo, a reporter will fuck up and repeat a question. It's like, oh, like, what the like, you're not the king, bro. You know, and this is about Adesanya, not Kevin Holland. But one time there was like a reporter and like he like just repeated a question about something, like, I don't know, like it was like literally just like, it was a dumb question, guys. I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, no offense to the reporter, bro, like it was a dumb question, but it's like, bro, like you called this guy out, like, and Kevin Israel Adesanya, this was like I think the DDP fight week. He was like, oh, were you listening, bro? Like, who are you with? Like, I'm not. I think he was like, oh, I'm not answering questions. Like, at the end of the day, too, another thing is like, yo, these people got bosses. Like, these people represent outlets, and it's like, yo, like when you do that, that fucks up their whole shit, you know? So it's not cool. I don't like that, and like I don't like fighters that do it. Like, I don't like Kevin Holland that did it. And that was kind of it for me. And Israel Adesanya, but I kind of talk about that long ass story just to bring us back to the co-main event. Where, you know, look, even though I do not like Kevin Holland, a bit of me also does root for him. You know, a bit of me always does care, you know. And come on, I'm going to root for him against Mike Malott. You know, I don't like Mike Malott, honestly. You know, and I don't mean to even be a hater, man. It's just, I don't like the Nelk shit. You know, I'm going to be real. I don't like the Nelk boys. And he's like, isn't he like tied in with that shit? Like, come on, dude. You're a grown man. You know, and it's just like, it is what it is at this point. But, what do you call it? So I was rooting for Kevin Holland. So Kevin Holland in the first round, right? He goes out there and he's looking really good. Gets kicked. Well, he gets kicked in the cojones, in the nuts for once, right? Really bad. Kind of thugs it out. Clearly hurting. Then again, like literally within like that, like 20 seconds, like literally like super fast, falls to the ground, gets hit, falling down, literally in pain, like literally like as if he got like a brutal body shot, you know what I'm saying? Like he just got shot, not even a body shot. RDR what? Hamzat laughing. Yeah, we will get to that actually because I do have it loaded up. We're going to talk about Hamzat's response. We'll talk about that after I talk about this Kevin Holland thing. Poor Dan Margulier. Poor from Dan Margulier. Okay, poor from Dan. I'm just going to say Murgliata. Holland clearly couldn't continue. Should have stopped the fight after the 5-minute mark. Crazy in my opinion. RDR was very disappointing. Blew his title shot. Absolutely. I mean, he definitely blew his title shot. I mean, blew his title shot is beyond belief. I'm curious. I want to know what the UFC has to say. Dana White's Contender Series, I think, just ended, right? So he isn't going to be, he's not going to be, you know, doing a media conference, but I would have wished he did because he probably would have gotten asked about his thoughts. I would have liked to know UFC's thoughts, although next week is a pay-per-view, so maybe we'll hear Dana White's thoughts somewhere around there about it. But, you know, I'm sure they're not happy about it, that's for sure. And about, though, the referee, I do want to talk about. I wonder how much Fluffy is regretting pulling out of the fight. No, that's what I said in the beginning. That's what I said in the beginning of the stream. Like, exactly. Like, that was literally what I'm thinking. Easy to say in hindsight, but I think Fluffy would beat RDR even while injured. Exactly. I mean, I don't know. You know, it really depends. I don't know what I don't know if he said what he was injured with. Do you guys know what he got injured with or whatever? Let me see. Oh, but I do want to talk about the Dan Murgliata thing because, yeah, I was just about to mention his poor handling of this situation, guys. Terrible handling of this situation. I mean, it is a joke. I mean, I'm sorry, but, like, I like Dan Murgliata. You know, he seems like a nice guy, but what were you thinking, dude? This is rigged against Kevin Holland. Like, Kevin Holland definitely deserves, you know, I don't know. Like, this is insane. That, you know, and you guys are saying, oh, that it should have gotten stopped. Okay, look, I understand Kevin Holland said, look, I'm ready, kept assuring that he was ready. I understand that. And I understand it even continuing. But take a point. Take 2 points. Or take a point. Because it would be 10-8. Or 2 points. I think 2 points is even fair. You did it twice. 2 points. You basically can't win a decision. unless you do some crazy shit. Like, even if you do some crazy shit, you get, I think, you win round 2 and you get a 10-8 in round 3 or something like that, you're still drawing. So you need a finish or some crazy. So I think that would have been, a fair punishment, in my opinion. Like giving 2 points off. I know that's a bit extreme. So even if it was 1, okay, then we could talk. Okay, I understand. But no points, and you're gonna like let the guy continue. Like, it's either you take a point or 2. I suggested 2, or you call off the fight. It's or. I don't understand. Like, I really don't know, and I understand that there's it's a lot of high pressure situations. As a referee, probably, and especially in I mean, this isn't the main event, but a co-main event or whatever, just in the UFC in general. But I honestly would have expected Dan Miragliotta, given himself to be like a veteran referee. Like, this guy has been refereeing forever, has refereed the biggest fights. I would have thought that he would have, handled the situation a lot better. Like, I thought that was a terrible situation. Kevin Holland did not deserve to lose that fight, absolutely. I mean, I saw some people online saying, oh, he was dragging it, he was faking it. I don't think he was faking it, guys. I really don't. And and Kevin Holland, I don't know. I mean, would he fake it? I'm not going to say that he's like above that. I get why you guys might say it, but like, because, there is this, and as I was kind of alluding to, his attitude, a lot of people allude to the fact that, he can't handle losing, that he has like an ego problem, and now that would make sense, a little, if you guys saw the Smashing Machine, a little reference there, you know what I'm saying? But what you call it? The Rock versus Alexander Usyk, if you guys catch my drift, you know what I'm trying to say. Shout out the Smashing Machine. Let's see. Easy to say in hindsight, but I think we said that. We responded. But yeah, no, terrible handling from Dan Miragliotta, and Mike Malott had a good third round. I thought Kevin Holland looked really good. It really does suck for him, the whole situation. And it really is a question of how much did that knee affect him? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Let's see. Yes. De Ridder quit. Yeah, I know Piggly Wiggly. I've been seeing, you've been active on socials. Destroying Reiner De Ridder. Yeah, there was some crazy reffing decisions, for sure. RDR shouldn't have taken the fight after Fluffy pulled out. He had potential to get a DDP matchup and kept his ranking spot, but took this fight, even though it wasn't a number one contender's fight. I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, you could say that. That's, I think, 1,000% something you could say in hindsight. Yeah, in hindsight, yeah, but I mean, realistically, that's like, when has that happened where, you have a main event already booked and like the whole thing gets moved and, I mean, the whole matchup gets scrapped. More often than not nowadays, usually it's a replacement. That does happen, of course, where they can't get a replacement. But more often than not, they do try to get a replacement. And, it makes sense because they just think they want the guys active at the end of the day. Like, they just need, hey, keep producing content, keep producing knockouts, keep producing. Hopefully you guys can get a streak going, a streak of knockouts, and we can get a star going. Let's just push. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, it is true. Like, the names don't matter as much. It really is like, how are you knocking these guys out? Because that's going to trend on social media. But yeah, I think that's 1,000% in hindsight. Because like I said, like, yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. Like, he should have definitely pulled out, probably held for a DDP matchup, or maybe even a title shot. There were talks of him deserving a title shot when he beat Whitaker, so he could even held hypothetically for a title shot. But when did we ever see that in the UFC? I think the UFC would, more likely than not, what would have happened is if he would have said that and he genuinely was like, hey, I'm not fighting Brendan Allen this day, UFC would have said, good luck, pal. Keep it packing. Not literally cut him, but they'll probably give him a terrible matchup. Another, I don't know what matchup are they going to give him? Kyle Berhallo. I mean, that's not a terrible matchup because it's not like an unwinnable matchup, but it's kind of similar to the Brendan Allen one where it's like you beat Kyle Berhallo. It doesn't really, does it put you in title contention? It depends how you do it. But because Kyle is coming off of a loss, then I don't think it means as much. I felt Cheeto blew it in the second. Yeah, I do want to talk about Cheeto because I do have something. I love Cheeto, but I mean, I don't know. I was a little upset at him as well, man. Should we just get into it, actually? I mean, I feel like let's not tease it. Let's just get into it. But did I finish my thought on that? I think, yeah, like, right now, I think RDR, the best thing he could have done was take the fight and win. That would have been the best thing for him. But, you know, you could say it in hindsight. Yeah, he could have tried, but I don't think it would have really helped him too much, to be honest. I felt Cheeto blew it in the second round, not capitalizing after Zahabi was clearly hurt. Low fight IQ, or did Cheeto believe he won in the first round? Your thoughts? What do you call it? So, yeah, I don't know. I think that Cheeto is just a guy that he is a slow starter. He's someone that, I don't know, it's like he just holds off and waits. He's a bit hesitant. You know, he's also a bit older now, too, so maybe he's a little more conscious of that. You know, and doesn't want to go as much. So as much as he was hesitant before, imagine now, you know, so who knows? I think that this is just what we've seen from Cheeto. I don't think this is really much difference, though, to answer your question. I think that, you know, I think it's, I guess, low fight IQ, to be honest, like, not to throw shade, but if it has to be one or the other, I think it's low fight IQ. Perhaps Cheeto did think he won round one. Maybe he felt like he did enough. I mean, I don't get, like, you know, I don't know why Cheeto, I feel like he holds it against his opponents when, like, you know, they're close fights. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, y'all are both in there having a close fight. I get emotions are high in there, but every other guy, every other UFC fighter gets in there and, like, you know, handles that emotion. You know what I'm saying? He's not special. You know, I mean, not, you know, he's special to me because, you know, I'm not saying I felt that emotion, but I'm saying other fighters have. So it's like, what the hell is his excuse? You know, like, I understand that if it happens once, okay, happens twice, maybe 3, even so, okay, give me a detailed explanation. But 4, I honestly don't know. I think 4 is where you cap it. I don't know if you could have 4 detailed, reasonable explanations for crashing out after a fight. And Cheeto Vera has done this a few times now. You know what I'm saying? He's done this where he, you know, has a close fight with somebody that's entirely his own fault. And I'm saying this as a guy, I love Cheeto Vera because Cheeto Vera represents, you know, like he, well, I don't know, represents, you know, because I don't know if he lived there. I'm not sure, but like, or I'm not even sure if I'm correct in saying this, but I'm pretty sure like he represents a neighborhood that I'm close by. So I fuck with Cheeto Vera, and I always fuck with him. I always root for him. I think he's a cool guy. I love his interviews. I love that he's cool with Action Bronson. I love all of that, you know? So it hurts me to say this, but I gotta call what it is. It's actually just like, it's not cool, bro. It's actually kind of sad. Like I said, every fighter, you know, can go in there and every fighter loses. There's Kevin Holland. Let's take a look at Kevin Holland. As much as we shit on Kevin Holland for his, you know, his remarks at Rampage or his remarks at other people, right? As much as we shit on Kevin Holland a lot and we call him, you know, dramatic, we shit on him. I have videos where I diss him for a long period of time. Cheeto Vera, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, not Cheeto Vera. Let's go back to Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, when he lost to Reiner De Ridder, RDR, or not Reiner De Ridder, guys, Mike Malott, right? When Kevin Holland lost to Mike Malott tonight, when he got kicked in the nuts, got fouled brutally, didn't get a point, you know, honestly, I thought got done dirty, and I think probably most people could recognize to some degree got done dirty, even if we all don't necessarily agree on how it should have been handled. I think we all agree that that was not the best way to handle the situation. So, you know, even himself, he was joking with Mike Malott after the fight. You know, even with the ref, he didn't have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was chill after the fight to Mike Malott. Like, he didn't go in there and, you know, like, oh, okay, we're going to face off now. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, like, you all had 15 minutes. What are you facing off for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you facing off? You know, like, I just don't get it, and it's frustrating, you know, because it's like, yo, you root for this guy, you hope for the best for this guy, and Amin Zahabi is also a very nice guy, you know what I'm saying, and it sucks. This isn't even like, if this was probably a shit guy, or a guy I didn't even know, maybe, I mean, I don't know him personally, but you know what I'm saying, like, you know, maybe an unknown fighter, maybe a fighter that was highly ranked, a fighter that was, you know, a prospect with a big ego that was, you know, oh, I'm going to run through Cheeto Vera, okay. I'm for that, and I'll support that. But it's like, come on, you're going to do it to Amin Zahabi, who is also older, who is also, you know, at the end of the day, doing his own thing. You know what I'm saying? He's a nice guy. He's literally a chill dude. And he was going to shake Marlon Vera's hand. He literally extended it, like, hey, good fight. Didn't know if he was going to win or lose. It was a close fight. Didn't know if he was going to win or lose. And we still saw Amin Zahabi, hey, thank you, you know? What's up? And we see Cheeto Vera. And like I said, I love Cheeto Vera. Truthfully, I do. But at the same time, we see him go in there, right? And he just acts like a diva, acts like I have no idea what. Like, why does he think he has the right to do this? You had 15 minutes. 15 minutes to do this. And it's like, you know, and I find that more cringe than anything. It's cringe, dude, because at the end of the day, Marlon Vera is like 38 years old or something like that. He's like 38, 30, maybe even older. And you're acting like this. Like I said, we shit on Kevin Holland. We shit on a lot of fighters. When do we really see this? Honestly, if I'm thinking back to all the times this has happened, I can only think of Marlon Vera. Seriously. What's up, Manny Rosa, by the way? What's up? Shout out Manny, always popping out to the stream. Shout out Mac209 as well for, you know, bringing up the Cheeto Vera situation. But yeah, the Cheeto Vera situation, I mean, you know, another fight that he loses, it's not a good look for him at this point. Like, he's losing a lot of fights. He had the fight with Sean O'Malley where, you know, that was definitely the worst he ever looked. Didn't look great against Davis and Figueiredo, and this is another fight where he's not looking good, you know, and I'm curious to see what happens next with him. He's probably going to take another fight, and that's what I'm trying to say too. If Marlon Vera didn't have the history, you know, that he did, and he just did this once, guys. Look, I'm not even that guy. I'm not going to shit on him. I would actually probably come on here and defend him. You heard that, guys? My throat's going to dry. I said, I'm not even the type of guy that's going to shit on him because he made a mistake. Okay, guys, look, we all make mistakes. This isn't the first time he's done this. Like, I would chalk it up to, you know what, he's on a losing streak. This is not what he needs, this and that. But, you know, I still like Cheeto Vera, and this doesn't make me not a fan, by the way. Like, I don't care that much. Like, and it's not going to, you know, ruin my day all that much. Like, look, it was just a little stare down in the exchange. And, yeah, I think we could all acknowledge he's a bit of a baby when he loses, clearly, or when, you know, goes to a decision and it's close and he feels that he could have won. Like, all fighters have felt that they've been just there. Like I said, Kevin Holland, perfect example. He was doing good in round one, got kneed or hit in the nuts twice, and then lost, you know. Got kicked once, kneed the other time. So, I do definitely want to see, because I didn't see actually all the fights on the card. What do you call it? So, I definitely do want to see some of the prelim fights. I did see, like, a lot of the highlights. I was just busy earlier today. But, damn, also, I want to bring up this. This card was insane. I mean, you know, UFC brings a shit pay-per-view to Canada, like, every year. You know what I'm saying? And it's, like, the most horrifically shit pay-per-view of all time. But for some reason, they give them, like, the best fight night of the year. So credit to the UFC for actually delivering for once for Canada, finally. I mean, seriously, like, their pay-per-views have been laughably bad. I mean, like, literally, like, where it was, like, Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana. Like, I don't even remember, like, don't forget Bilal Muhammad, Jack Della Maddalena. Like, oh, my God. And Manon Fiorot versus Valentina Shevchenko. Oh, $5. Thank you, Mac, I appreciate it, for real. You don't have to, yeah, like I always tell y'all, I appreciate y'all joining the streams and all that. We're going to give that a heart. I appreciate you guys supporting all that. What you call it? I appreciate it, Mac209. But yeah, they give Canada these shit pay-per-views, and it just, I feel bad, man. You know, Canada deserves better, you know, and they finally gave them better. Like, this fight night is better than the other pay-per-views. So I think that definitely says a lot, and I'm curious to see, I guess we'll see where the UFC goes to Canada. I think they keep wanting to build Mike Malott as a star. This night has proven that, yeah, even Mike Malott didn't even look good in this fight. Mike Malott, I think, is a joke at this point. Like, I know, like, Mike Malott can get the smoke, you know, not in the ring with me. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll get in the ring at this point. Who knows? My shift froze. My homie called, but what's your thoughts on the fights? What you call it? Just to say briefly, like I said, main event, you know, and this is actually a good ask. I'll do a little recap. Do a little in conclusion for the main fights that we talked about. You know, main event, RDR and Brendan Allen. I thought RDR, I think he probably was injured in that fight. Or, I don't know. I mean, I do think that, I forgot who said, but someone said maybe he got just too aggressive, got too cocky early on. Maybe that was it too. And honestly, that definitely made me think and say, hey, actually, maybe that is true. Let me go back and look. So I'm going to go back probably later tonight and look myself and see myself and say, hey, maybe did he exert a lot of energy? Because he did exert a lot of energy. And I do remember thinking at the time, oh, that is a lot of energy. But I wasn't really worried at the time. I didn't think he would get tired. So then we saw Brendan Allen just, you know, pretty much just destroy him and, you know, quit in the stool. Now, let's talk about that, because I don't even think ever talked about the stool aspect of this. We never even got to the finish. And this is why, like I said, I gotta, in my videos, I feel like there's all this editing, but that's it with it live. We're talking straight up. But what do you call it? Like, so then we get to the stoppage. We end round 4, and Brendan Allen, his coach, he goes to his coaches, and I hear his coaches say, something about, if you don't feel good, we're gonna stop the fight. And honestly, to me, that kind of confirmed to me he was injured, because I'm like, hey, maybe his coaches know, dude, you're not winning this, bro. Like, you have a broken rib, I don't know, you got sick this morning, and you have torn ACL and your arm's broken. Like, you're not winning this, dude. We're calling it. So I don't know. I thought maybe something like that was happening. But then it seemed like, RDR, I think he was, I don't know, he didn't seem to protest necessarily, but then it seemed like, yeah, somehow through the exchange, it's kind of unclear to me, at least, if RDR specifically said, hey, stop this fight, or if he approved, or if they did it without his permission, whatever it is, whatever the case is. I don't know what it is, but whichever it is, I don't know. I still think that he probably was okay with it. And to be honest, when a fighter, in my opinion, is laying on the ground like that, exhausted, they're kind of asking for the fight to be done, and even RDR, it's not like he told his coaches, no, stop. No, I'm good. We see that. Kevin Holland, like, when he got hit in the nuts, he showed urgency. You know what I'm saying? He showed, no, I want to be in this fight. I'm willing to fight. Like, dude, he literally was like grimacing, like literally holding his nuts as he's fighting. Like, you literally using one hand to cover his face, using the other one to cover his nuts, bro. And that's the thing that sucked about the Kevin Holland fight too, is like, dude, I'm thinking, like, now every time you're clinching, you're probably in your mind a little worried yourself. Like, now this is another thing you have to think of that's not even in the rule set. This isn't even fair. It's like if you had to worry like someone's gonna shoot you in the middle of the fight. It's like, dude, how are you even gonna combat that? That's not even a fair thing, because like if you're blocking that, you're going to be at a disadvantage. You're going to be distracted. But then they called off the fight, because I want to get back to the main event. They called off the fight. RDR got off the stool. Quit on the stool. I shouldn't say got off the stool, because he couldn't get off the stool, but he quit on the stool. I mean, Brendan Allen, handled it classy, to be honest. Like, he went to him. He definitely was happy that he got the win, short notice himself. And I saw Brendan Allen was actually worried about his cardio. I guess that was not necessary, because it was RDR who would gas. And like I said, so, there's a lot of talk online. Did he quit? When's the last person that quit on the stool? To me, it's a little unclear if he quit. So I don't know yet, as of right now. Like, if it comes out genuinely that he said to his corner, okay, I'm done. I mean, here's my stance on corner stoppages, okay? So if he said it himself, that's a bit like, okay, I mean, he's a bit on the older side. Okay, this is, it's really up to him. It affects himself. I'm just like, that's a really big decision. And to quit, I mean, but at the same time, the reason why I'm not so, obscene about it is he really was not going to win, guys. Like, there was no chance. I mean, could we all acknowledge he was going in there and going to get dominated once again? I think he was injured. I think probably they called it off because of that. That is my gut feeling. But maybe they just, like I said, my opinion on corner stoppages is I'm surprised that there isn't more, believe it or not. And honestly, I know I'm going to sound like a massive pussy for this, dude. And I know y'all are going to maybe not like this, that I'm saying it. And look, by the way, there's two different things to separate. Do I want more corner stoppages? No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't want that. As a fan, I don't want that. However, what I'm saying is I'm surprised that there isn't more, because if I'm a coach and my fighter has just lost 4 rounds, and or 3 rounds in Reiner De Ridder's case, they're exhausted. There's no chance they're winning this fight. I would call the fight, because Reiner De Ridder at this point is so exhausted, he can get knocked out brutally, bro. Like, he really, if it's on the feet and he's exhausted, not paying attention, he's gonna get knocked out. And what if he gets knocked out and that changes his career? We've seen that with fighters where they get knocked down, they're never the same, they lose their chin. So when you could have just called the fight early, I'm sure that was but I'm sure some more have happened recently. Was there one recently? I don't know. I don't think that there was one recently. I think there might have been one recently. I meant to say the opposite. I think there might have been one recently. Yeah, I think but you're right. Yeah, that is actually a really good shout out though. DDP versus Derek Brunson. That is also the last one I can remember. It was definitely like one of the last big ones. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe it did happen on the undercard of something, But we definitely see it way more in boxing. And in boxing, like I said, definitely makes sense. Like, you want to save, your head trauma. But I think in MMA, there's so many, like, ways to win. There's so many, like, shocking ways to win that I think a lot of people hold off on that. And not only that, I think that a lot of people probably fear how it's going to look with the bosses, with the UFC, which is actually insane, which is, pretty insane that, like, they're, I don't know, like, I don't know. I guess it's not that insane, but it's like, I don't know. That's pretty crazy. That, like, I feel like the UFC will really be on that that hard. Like the fact that, like, the fighters, like, like, you can't even stop the fight, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like come on. What I'm trying to say is let me back up and explain better. What I'm trying to say is, for sure, if these fighters start throwing in the towel, not quitting on the stool, but let's say that their team, the corner, throwing the towel, and then they quit or they end the fight. If that starts happening, I think Dana White and the UFC are probably not going to be happy, because that's going to lower viewership if you're not getting these big knockouts, if it became a thing like that. But let's be honest, we've seen Dana White go on his rant. Do you want to be a real fighter? Do you want to be a real fighter? Like, go crazy like that. We're going to get that at, like, the fucking press conference about RDR. It's like, you want to be a real fighter? And then meanwhile, like, Dana White, like, never fight ever. And it's like, and he's, like, talking about, like, RDR like that. And that's no shade to Dana White. Like, I actually like Dana White, and I'm not even, like, a hater of Dana White. And, I know a lot of people, I feel like more of the UFC more than Dana White, because I feel like Dana White actually he's not even really involved in the UFC anymore, to be honest. I think he actually is, I feel like he actually gets more hate. I actually think, because a lot of people, we talked about this on one of, like, the live streams recently, where someone was like, yo, like, who do you think would replace Dana that would be better? And honestly, I don't think there would be anybody, like, that would be better, because I just think that Dana White has an attachment to the product that I think he feels a personal thing that nobody else will ever feel when the company grows. So he has that motivation that not everybody will have, or a lot of people aren't going to have. You know what I'm saying? And that no one else will probably have, let's be honest. I mean, maybe, like, I think the second best you could do is get, like, a super fan that is, and even then, but I even then worry, because I think even super fans, there's always a worry there. I don't think they're going to think with their head. I think they're going to think too much as a fan, and I think that definitely it works for the UFC, and I think that's what makes, and I honestly, not even makes, I'm going to say made, because I do feel like that the UFC has been lacking in this lately. I feel like it made the UFC pop in when it was like, dude, like, oh, these guys, these guys are, you want to see this fight? They're fucking fighting. But we just don't see that anymore, and partially it's not because the fights aren't even being made. There is sometimes that, like we saw with John Jones and Tom Aspinall, and that I feel like that aura has kind of been shattered a bit, at least in my opinion, that they can get any fight done, and they're there to make the fights. Like, to me, it really just seems like the UFC nowadays is prioritizing, where are we going, when do we need somebody, instead of, hey, let's make the fights. And that's what I'm trying to say. I think Dana White is the only guy that can replicate that, because he has a personal feeling towards that. I feel like he potentially could get himself motivated again, potentially, if something happened, if an opportunity, like maybe the Paramount deal, I hope maybe there's another grow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, boy, shut the fuck up, you bag of milk. Yo, you hear this with Shiv, man? Come on. Shout out Shiv from the Mic Check. Check out the Mic Check podcast. You guys know what's up. Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh no, Dana White, right? I think Dana White, like, come on, he feels his own, like, personal, love for the UFC. So I feel like he'll at least want it to grow. But if he leaves tomorrow, bro, and we're seeing Hunter, we're seeing Mick, dude, this is going to go to, like, this, I mean, not Disney anymore, because now it's going to Paramount, but it'll be a fucking, like, machine, as much as it is a machine right now, dude. And that's the problem, is we're seeing not the fights we want to see. We're seeing fights like that are easy for them to make, the easiest fights to make. It's not the best fights. It's the easiest, most convenient fights, which sometimes are cool, because there are definitely some big personalities in the UFC. But I think partially it's because of that, and I also think partially it's because, let's be honest, guys, there isn't as many big stars in the UFC anymore. I mean, bro, they're declining. The UFC is becoming more of the brand, and the fighters are becoming less of the people. You know what I'm trying to say? And it just feels like we're less and less. Or it feels like we're more and more getting toward, like, UFC being a product that's just being recycled weekend and day out. And but to be honest, guys, I do want to end with a positive note with this rant, because I do feel like it's a bit depressing, But I do want to say I do have a bit hope for this Paramount thing. It does seem like that there seems to be Paramount, putting pressure on the UFC, and especially with how pay-per-views are dying. I think this actually helps the UFC fans. Not just because we don't have to pay pay-per-view, but because now I think there's going to be pressure to keep up ratings. So now it's like, hey, Paramount's going to say, hey, we paid $7.7 billion for you. And after this deal, they're going to have to show, hey, we made Paramount this money back. Not necessarily through paperwork, but I'm just saying, we know ESPN benefited from having UFC because UFC grew so much since they signed with UFC. So they definitely made their money back for sure. Or at least a decent amount. They definitely made their money back. Let's not lie. For sure, they made $1 billion, and now it's worth $7.7 billion. So for sure, made their money back with that. And now the UFC are getting paid $1 billion a year. So where will the UFC be in 5 years? They need to be at a bigger state. They obviously want to keep growing. So my hope is that because of this, because of all this pressure, because now pay-per-view is dead, you're not selling pay-per-views. You're selling a consistent product that needs to keep having good views. I think that we're going to see more good fight nights. I think we're going to see, more. I think we're going to see them really kick it into gear, to be honest. Let me see what you guys have been saying, though, because I haven't read the chat in a second. That's true. It's easy to crap on RDR, but who knows what was happening behind the scenes. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like because of the Robert Whittaker fight, if it wasn't for the Robert Whittaker fight, I wouldn't question it. But he has looked really good, and didn't look like anything like that in his career, for sure. Ever. RDR was supposed to be the chosen one, not to fall to the dark side. That's what I said in the beginning. Was like, bro, like every single time it's like, yo, this guy's the guy to be Hamza. Okay, no, he's not. All right, then this guy. All right, no, he's not. What if all gyms and teams banded together and started throwing in the towels more often? That's what I'm saying. Like, if that happened, like, bro, like, come on, the UFC, they're doing some crazy shit. Like, as soon as they get wind of that, like, once this happens 3 times, they're cutting that guy. They're cutting the third guy because they're saying we're sending a message, like, to the fighters. They can't end these fights early. Like, they need to get knocked out unconscious, like, or submitted at least, but hopefully knocked out for the UFC's case. It's a bad look to quit because you're exhausted. He honestly looked done after round 2. I agree. Dana will make it very hard for Dana White to get potential, or make it hard for RDR to get a potential title shot again. Yeah, and that's definitely what's going to happen. Like I said, that's why I think is probably in my opinion, I mean, I could be 1,000% wrong, but I think if you ask most UFC fighters and you say, hey, why don't you throw in the towel more? What are you afraid of? I think partially it's, of course, I don't want to lose the fight. Of course it is. But when you're down 4 rounds of a fight and you're beaten down and like you're not winning and you're injured, why are you, you're not winning the fight, right? So what is, stopping you from your corner throwing the towel? And what's stopping you? It's because I guarantee you a lot of them are going to say the UFC, that they're not going to be happy that Dana White's going to get on an interview, talk bad about me, and all this and that. And, that's just how they run the business. To be honest, they need to give you a strategic advisory role to bring UFC into a new prime. I mean, honestly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like someone like me, that would be improvement to the UFC. That's what I should have answered the question with. Yo, Shiv's right. Like, I should have just answered when someone asked me a few weeks ago, and they were like, "Oh, like, who could they bring on that would bring excitement?" I should have said me, because honestly, I really don't think there's anybody, because there's so much money to be made in it, and honestly, even me too. I don't know. I could be greedy, bro. I really don't know. I could wind up being greedy myself, bro, and just say, you know what? Like, we need more fucking fight nights. I don't care where we're going. Whoever pays the highest. I mean, that's really, the UFC runs their business like this. This is how they make money, legit. Like, if we're being real. It's not even mainly from the fights. I think their biggest business model, especially as like TKO, as this like WWE, UFC, all thing, this whole company, it's really just, these arenas, these cities, these places, paying them to go there. That's actually how they're making a lot of money. They're getting paid a whole lot of money. And that's why we're not seeing, in my opinion, I think that's why that determines kind of the fights that get made. That determines, hey, we need this booking. Now there's so much pressure. Hey, they're paying us all this money. We actually need to deliver a fight night. We need a main event. You know what I'm saying? But then everything else suffers, and I feel like that is why then the product's suffering. And I'm curious to see where, if the UFC keeps this up, which I don't think it will. My opinion on the UFC is it's like gambling. You really don't know what'll happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, really anything could happen. Alex Pereira just won a couple weeks ago. Boom, that was huge for the MMA scene. Huge. Like, that was a huge shot into MMA, in my opinion. Like, MMA was dying, bro. It was low. It was dying. Pereira, I felt like injected it. And I'm not saying dying in terms of my love for for watching it. No, I love it. I'm just talking about, like, actually, like, fans watching. You know, like, it's lower. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not lie, because you don't have those big names. But when Pereira won, it felt like, yo, people are actually, wait, hold up. Oh, Pereira won again? Oh, shit. Let me see. Okay, now I'm actually going to start watching UFC. Oh, it's going on Paramount. I don't got to pay pay-per-view anymore? Okay. Probably the biggest thing that hurt UFC, honestly, that night was StreamEast being down. For real. Like, honestly. That probably would have helped them. In the future. Yeah, you're just correcting that. Yeah. Definitely potential. Yeah, I definitely think, though, that Dana White will block RDR, probably. Or he'll definitely have to get, like, 2 wins. I mean, you never know. I mean, look, there have been times where something like that is happened. Look at Arman Sarukian. You know, Arman Sarukian, we said, oh, he's done. He's getting cut from the UFC in January, right? When he pulled out against Islam a day before the fight, right? We all like, oh, he's done. Now he's fighting in a couple weeks against a favorable matchup in Dan Hooker, right? He's probably going to win. And, or at least that's a fair matchup that he could win. I won't say probably, because Dan Hooker impressed me against Gamrot, but probably I think is going to win. And with that, he apparently said it was a number 1 contenders fight. So I think Dana White actually said that. I'm not sure who said that, but somebody said it was a number 1 contenders fight. So Dana White there, boom, saying Arman Sarukian could get a title shot after we all were like, no way, he's going to, you know, we all were shitting on him. Nothing has happened. Keep in mind, that was the last thing. There's not been another fight. There hasn't been another defining moment. A matter of fact, in my opinion, made himself look way worse since the situation. So it goes to show, because I was someone that defended Arman for a bit, but to be honest, I do think that it does seem like he was injured. Dana White came out and said it himself. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he was, you know, wrong, but I don't know. Maybe he was, like, misspoken. Maybe forgot the situation. I have no idea. Nobody cheered for the fake Canadian Allen. Yo, for real. Yo, that's so funny. I saw that. Yo, like, Brendan Allen changing his flag to the Canada flag. It's like, bro, like, what do you think? They're going to just be like, oh, shit, yeah. Like, yo, once they just see the flag, like, that's all that matters. Like, bro, like, that's a joke. Like, that is a joke. Worst card of the year after Blanchfield versus Barber. What was? This card? Are you saying, or is that a question? I thought, are you telling me that this is the worst? Because I disagree. I literally said in the beginning this might be one of the best fight nights of the year. Will you be trying to get a press badge for the UFC fight night? And if so, can I pull up? Well, I don't think they're gonna let me go. Secret Service is pretty tough. So I don't think they're gonna let me go, to be honest, with my history. They need a book, Bilal for the White House. They need to book Bilal for the White House with Netanyahu ringside. Yo, y'all are actually crazy, bro. Yeah, Netanyahu ringside, bro. That's actually funny as fuck. That's actually so funny, a statement. That would be crazy, though. That definitely is not gonna happen, though. There is no shot Bilal Muhammad's gonna fight on the White House card. Yeah, as a waving the Palestinian flag, I'm sure. Good luck. Good luck, bro. That is insane, but that's actually really funny. Maybe, though. You never know. You never know. Except definitely not, because Donald Trump will not let that happen. Imagine him, Dana White and him, they get into it because of that. And Dana White would be a real G standing up for Bilal Muhammad, of all people. Like, why? My fault with my history. Come on, you know about my history. What do you mean? My history that I can't get into. You know, the criminal record. LMAO. What's up, Piggly Wiggly? Yeah, no, but yeah, honestly, if you're saying, though, worst fight card of the year after Barber and Blanchfield, I disagree with you. But if you're asking me that question, what was the worst? Was it fight night card or worst card? Okay, worst card probably would be a fight night. Bro, there's one coming up that's like real bad. I forgot what it was, but there's one coming up that's real bad. And I'm like, dude, what is this? You know, and that's what I'm saying is, like, you have the Apex, you know, and then that's another thing about this is that they have these Apex cards that are awful. And I hope that, you know, Paramount, you know, looks at this Apex and is like, what the fuck is this, dude? Are you serious? We're paying you $1 billion a year and you're fucking having fighters fight in a warehouse that's empty still, even though it's not COVID. You watched the MMA Guru event? I did not watch the MMA Guru event. I'm laughing because I saw a tweet, honestly, and like, yo, I'm just gonna say it. I saw a tweet and this is fucking hilarious. It was like, yo, someone posted, it was like, oh, if you're not a real MMA fan, if you're not watching this, and it was like, yo, the top comment was like, why would I fucking watch this? Like, dude, for real, like, look, if you watch, I'm not, look, I understand it. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like, if you're a fan of them, watch a watch party, it's whatever. But to say, like, oh, this is the fucking, if you're a real MMA fan, like, get the fuck out of here, bro. What is that? That is not, if you're a real MMA fan. Like, a real MMA fan is like, yo, you're watching the card. That's respect. Yo, you're a real MMA fan if you watch the prelims, which I already admitted I didn't watch the prelims yet. So, you know what I'm saying? That's some shit I will reward. I'm not going to reward, oh, you watched MMA Guru, and, I feel like, I honestly, though, I do think it's a good idea to do, like, those types of streams, like, to do, like, the commentator stuff. Like, I do think it's a dope idea, and I saw that they were doing it, and I actually thought it was a cool idea, for sure, but I don't think it was the must go. That's why I was laughing. But you can get the Trump pardon, and then they'll let you in. Yeah, I'm sure. Trump's not going to let me in, bro. They know I'm too much of a threat, bro. They know. UFC should have done everything they could, and that's not a threat, by the way, to the White House, guys. I just want to clarify that. That was me just talking about myself being a threat to society at large. UFC should have done everything they could to not allow Islam to vacate the lightweight title. Islam versus Ilya would have been massive. What will happen if Islam loses to JDM? And that's exactly what I'm talking about. But at the same time, I will say not even. And that's exactly what it is. Why did they do that, in my opinion? What was the thinking process? So Islam Makhachev, right, lightweight champion, Ilya Topuria wanted to move up to fight the lightweight champion. Let's be honest, guys. UFC, it seems to be now that the UFC are just like are told Islam himself and was like, hey, move up a weight class, so that Ilya can move up a weight class, and they both basically don't have to fight each other, and they're just a champion a weight class above, which made no sense. Now, I don't know. It's not confirmed the UFC told him this. Maybe that's not what happened. Maybe Islam wanted to do this. I don't know. That part seems unclear to me. I mean, to me, like, I've heard this theory before that the UFC just told Islam, and to me that does make kind of sense, honestly, because it was weird to me. Like, why wouldn't you just fight Ilya? That's a massive fight unless you're just being a diva, like, for no reason. But you have a massive fight in Ilya versus Islam, which would have been, I think, a huge fight. I think if it was announced, I think that the promotion behind it, and once again, as I always say with these fights, if the promotion is behind it and the promotion is done right, which the UFC doesn't do anymore, like, there's no promotion for these fights ever, because the UFC is big, so they could just, here's a poster, fuck it, come Saturday, we'll show you something. That's basically what we're getting nowadays. But if you have an on-sale press conference, that's really all you need. The best example I could say to this, Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis, I think is a perfect argument as to why you need to have these these pre-sale press conferences. It's because, boom, this one, right, where you have Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis, a fight nobody cares about. No one cared about the second fight because there wasn't any bad blood. The first fight, nobody cared. They go on the press conference. Because of the press conference, they trash talk, and they get into a fight the next day. That literally hyped up the fight so much. And then Sean Strickland, we saw cry on a podcast. All this shit happened from it. That is a prime example of, boom, this is what fucking happens when you actually have promo. You know what I'm saying? Where you actually do stuff like that. And I don't remember what fight, about Islam Ilya. If you had that type of promo on Ilya Topuria, bro, he's going to get followers. He's going to get big. And even him, like, against Charles, they didn't do anything like that. You could have even promoted that a bigger way. They don't promote Topuria. Why don't you have, like, I don't even know, have promos, like, have press conferences, have these face-to-faces. I think that's what you just need in this day and age. It's social media. It's really not that hard to promote these fights. I honestly, and I'm going to get clipped for that, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not saying it's easy peasy, to run the UFC, but I'm just saying, like, come on, dude. To do nothing, something's better than nothing. Just push them, push the content out. Get them, get clips of them going, get these press conferences, get them talking to each other, It's not always like, oh, well, we'll see Saturday night. Respect you, I love you, we'll see Saturday night. Like, nah, bro. Like, sometimes that what separates the great fights. That's what makes it incredible when you have a fight like that, when it's two guys that are completely silent, because that is huge, like Canelo and Crawford. That was a really big fight, and those guys didn't need gimmicks to sell the fight. Now, like, they sold it based on their abilities and their what they've done and their accomplishments. So that's fucking impressive to do. But let's be honest, like, Islam isn't that guy to do that in the United States, at least. Ilia Topuria, I think, could be. You never know in the future. I don't think he's there quite yet to say, like, oh, yeah, he's a star. But, he's getting up there. I definitely think, you never know. I think if he keeps getting knockouts like he is, you never know. I think in a year's time, I'm curious to see where he'll be if he knocks out Gaethje, knocks out Paddy Pimblett, maybe knocks out, Arman Sarukian or Dan Hooker or something like that. Maybe he fights Islam Makhachev. I don't know. For me, also, I'm not happy with Ilya. I think he is going to fight Justin Gaethje and then be like, I want to move up and fight Islam if Islam beats Jack. But, I'm just like Ilya. I said in the beginning, and I like Ilya. Ilya is one of my favorite fighters right now, believe it or not. Like I said, like, one of my favorite fighters that I'm looking forward to seeing him fight. And I think he's one of the biggest stars in the UFC. So I think for him, like, I don't even remember where I was going with that, but what was I saying about Ilya? I don't even know now. But with him, I gave him slack before, right? About like his trash talk, right? And the trash talk is entertaining, and I don't mind the trash talk when you're saying, "Oh, fuck this guy's shit, this guy hits like whatever." I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. That is all great, but what I don't like is when it's like, I'm not fighting this guy because he doesn't deserve it. And it's like a fucking number one contender, a guy that he should just fight. And like, come on, we want to see the fight. Enough of this. I'm not fighting Max Holloway. What has he done? Okay, I get it, you're trolling us, but it's like, come on. I don't know. Is he trolling us? That's the thing. Is if he's trolling us, fine. I'll keep up with it, whatever. We get it. But if you're actually going to cause a fuss for these fights, and you're not going to give us these fights, and we're going to spend next year wondering, where's Ilia Topuria? Because he fought Justin Gaethje, and it's September, and he hasn't fought anybody, and there's no news because he wants to go to welterweight. Will he go to welterweight? And then he just inevitably, I don't even know what he does. Does he? I don't know. Will he go up? I have no idea. He might. He might go up if Islam wins. But if Islam really does win the welterweight title, I have no interest in seeing Ilia Topuria versus Islam anymore because Islam's too big. Ilya, I'd rather just see fight lightweights. I'd rather see Islam fight welterweights and call it a day at this point. You should have done the fight in June. Like, honestly, it's infuriating. I don't understand, but I want to get back to this. So why, what was the thinking behind this? What was the thinking? Okay, so they need two champs, right? They want as many superstar champs as possible. Why? Because championship fights are what headline pay-per-views. So you want big champions. So you always have a guy you could throw on a pay-per-view that's big, that's also champion. You don't want the unpopular guy to be the champ because how do you build a pay-per-view around a guy that's not popular? Simple thinking. So if you have a welterweight champion and you have a popular welterweight champion, a popular lightweight champion, you have two champions now that could alternate pay-per-views, go back and forth, all this and that. And when you have that, that's a lot easier as a brand. Now, why is that a focus for them? Why is the focus not, let's make the biggest fight possible and get the fans going? Let's get more fans. Let's get more eyeballs. Let's get more people talking about the UFC. Let's get this into conversations of being mainstream. Why? Because they have to fill these arenas. That is what they're prioritizing because the UFC is becoming a machine and we're going full circle, if you guys see what I'm saying. The UFC are prioritizing, we got to fill out these arenas, we got to fill out pay-per-views, we got to fill out, not stadiums, but yeah, just arenas, all around the world for these pay-per-views. We need good headliners. We can't afford to have not good headliners in these arenas tank because once that happens, our main source of money is gone, which it will be. That will inevitably happen if you're not going to take the time to also invest back into the sport and invest back into the fans so they stay interested. That's what's going to happen. And it's happening. It's not happening just yet, but I think they're on a course where we could say if they keep going like this, it will happen. But as I said, I'm not worried about it. I don't think it will keep happening. Anything could change at any moment, dude. Like I said, in January, Ilia Topuria can knock out Justin Gaethje, and it could be huge on Paramount, and this is a whole different conversation. Let's see where we are a year from now, and I think we'll have a better idea. But I wonder, keep in mind, this is also the ESPN, the last year of ESPN. The UFC could just be saying, let's just get through it. We got the boxing stuff that we've been setting up this year. This could have just them half-assed, and maybe they're going to be back on the ball next year. Who knows? Obviously, it's worrying because we're going to get more boxing events next year. I would rather, honestly, hear Dana White say the words, I'm done with boxing. I'm going to just go into UFC. Don't think that's happening anymore with his beef with Eddie Hearn now. I think he's dug even deeper into boxing, so I don't think he's going to give up. Now I think he has even more, personal love to boxing, now at least an ego attached to it, not love, but an ego to it. Now you're really not allowed. Okay, let me read the chat because I haven't read it in a minute, actually. Let me see. UFC should have done. Okay, no, I read that one. Well, now they're not. Now they're really not letting you in. Saying your third society at large is not any better, bro. You think Conor McGregor will ever drop an album? Conor McGregor actually started a record label. So you never know, bro. Where can I? But if he does, I'm on the mic check. Check it out, guys. Bro, where can I watch UFC live free? You can watch it here on the channel every week. Just kidding, guys. You can watch it free, though, on Paramount soon, or as long as you have Paramount. But if you want to know a site, I mean, I can't legally say, but I'm sure Shiv will DM you or something like that. And he'll give you a link or something like that you can go sign on to, But yeah, also I wanted to say, because we didn't talk about this at all, about Hamza Chimaev. He did comment on the whole giving up thing. He said, let me see what he said. I'm trying to read what he said. Oh, I have it right here. Oh my god, guys. You guys actually don't know how slow I am, and you guys won't. I can't explain it to you, but I really am slow. Nice segue to shouting out the mic check. Of course, come on. The Russian links, Rashad says. Yeah, so Hamza Chimaev reacted to the loss to RDR, and he said, this bullshit guy give up. So, damn me, I got you. At Written Worm, I got you. Shout out the Written Worm, shout out the mic check. But I don't approve of that, guys. Don't approve of piracy on the channel for legal reasons. Of course, we got to put that out. Let me read this. Hamza Chimaev it said, yeah, this bullshit guy give up, talking about RDR, because obviously there was a lot of talk. RDR, Hamza, could the fight happen? I like I said in the beginning of the stream, and I believe Piggly Wiggly also said it as well, or not Piggly, I think it was PZ actually. But I'm sure I think a lot of people were saying it Reiner De Ridder seemed like maybe a guy that could beat Hamza. I don't think Piggly Wiggly actually didn't say that, so let me not put words in your mouth. But PZ, I know, said that. He said, hey, this guy could be the guy to beat Hamza. This guy could be a threat. And I was also thinking that as well. I was thinking it, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem, obviously. I don't know. I'm not going to say it doesn't seem like it, because I do think that RDR was injured, but it doesn't seem like he's going to get a title shot anytime soon. If buying isn't owning, pirating isn't stealing. Raw. I mean, what do you guys think of this? Is that woke, or is that get him in or get him out? I fuck with that. That's some woke shit. I like it. But I'm saying woke in a positive way. I know a lot of people say a negative way, but I'm actually using it in a positive way. Anyway, guys, 20K subs and I'll do coke on the stream. Let's do it. Perhaps 20K subs, by the way. That was what I was referring to, not 20K money. So I'm even doing it for cheaper. So that's just 5K. I mean, I think we could do 5K probably, to be honest. What do you guys think we should do on the? Let me know any channel ideas. I want to react to some channel ideas, some ideas. What should we do on Jack MMA? Given that look, UFC has been dying. UFC's been slow. Will you do dance for donos? Dance for donos. I should have dance for donos. I should have what do you call it? Little achievement things. I've been a tough fight for Chimaev too. Boy, I was wrong. I don't, but that's what I'm saying. I don't actually think I'm wrong. I still I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see me now. Okay, I think I was disconnected for a second. I don't think that's wrong. I think RDR was injured, so that's TBD. What I'm questioning is, will he even get a chance to fight Hamzat? I don't know. There's been talks. Khamzat could retire a bit earlier in his career than other people because, you know, of the money he gets from dictators and shit. No, I'm kidding. I don't know where he gets his money, but I do think he probably, honestly, that's what I think. I think he does get a lot of money from dictators and stuff, and I think that's why he doesn't fight. I think he's just, you know, he's like, you know, you want to talk about dancing for donos? Like, fucking, yeah, Khamzat Chimaev, bro. Like, I think he literally was dancing for donos. There's actually a video of him literally dancing for donos. Like, seriously, I will play it if y'all really want it, but I think I have it on my computer for a video. But it was like, yo, he literally was dancing for Ramzan Kadyrov, who is, of course, a dictator himself, a warlord. Do you know in NYC where you can find a recording / mixing engineer? Of course, you talking about myself. If you're in New York City, guys, you guys check me out, call me up, and I'll mix your song up. Come on, you guys know recording engineer on the side. So just pop out. Maybe I should do like I definitely should do like a mixing live down the road of, but I don't know, not on Jack MMA, but maybe it's something else. Maybe the mic check, who knows? Who knows? Maybe on something new. Who knows? Who knows? And down the line, the sound lab will be built. Algorithm, I'm going to let it slide this time, but I will not be approving that pause shit any longer. Who's algorithm? Are you talking about like the algorithm? When I said that, I know you're talking about algorithm, but I'm like, yo, why are you adding the algorithm? Is what I meant to say. Jack, I don't know if it's just me because I'm in Staten Island, but you cutting out. OD, it might be me. Low key might be me because I did get like a notification that I was cutting out. But Staten Island does suck, so who knows? That is very 50-50. I don't think it was you because there was also a drop in the views when during that period, but people are back now, so I think it was cutting out, guys. My bad. I don't know what's going on, guys. I actually need to upgrade my computer pretty soon. I am thinking about, honestly, guys, I've been thinking about getting a Mac Mini. I want to know y'all thoughts. I know Shiv's thoughts, of course, but I want to know y'all thoughts. Y'all could go on the Discord and let me know because I want to know the thoughts. I want to know, like, you know, I don't know. Like for me, I need my computer a little faster. Nah. Algorithm is someone in the chat typed "come on me" and I approved it to the chat. I approved it to show in the chat. Yo, why did it not show? What the hell? Shout out algorithm. I don't know. Or unless you're just trolling and that was like a massive joke. But what you call it? We were talking about something before I saw the algorithm shit, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we'll unless y'all type the last questions, we'll wrap it up. I think soon, you know, shit. But unless y'all got more questions, more convo, but I think we pretty much talked out UFC Vancouver. Obviously, I also want to talk about real quick Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane coming up. I actually am excited for the fight a little bit. I do want to see the fight because I want to see my guy Tommy Aspinall knock Cyril Gane out cold. No, not really knock him out cold because I actually am not a hater of Cyril Gane. I actually used to be more of a fan of Cyril Gane back then than I am now. Less so now just because of the whole, you know, where the hell has he been? You know, like this guy just waltzes. This guy disappears off the face of the earth and then just pops up in a title shot out of nowhere, you know? So it's a little frustrating as a fan, and it's frustrating to see Tom Aspinall get screwed over for many years and have to fight this guy who's been ducking Tom, you know, who ducked him last year when it was for an interim time. I mean, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on this. I'm going to get on my Cyril Gane shit, but I'm a huge fan of Tom Aspinall. I love Tom Aspinall, so I'm going to be rooting hard for Tom Aspinall, really hard, pause. But, yeah, I'm a big fan of Tom. Yeah, I don't know. I think my phone tripping or it's cutting out. Yo, Manny, thank you, bro. I thought it was only me. Is this still cutting out or? If it's still cutting out, let me know. If it's still cutting out, I don't know. It might be me. Does Imavov have a chance to beat Chimaev? Who would be the toughest in the middleweight division? Ironic audio starts cutting out when I asked you about being an audio engineer. Yo, deadass. Yo, for real, yo, you're making me look shite here. Everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" I'm not gonna work with him. But to answer your question, who do I think could beat Chimaev, or who would be the toughest test? Or does Imavov? Let me answer that first. Can Imavov? I don't think he will win But I'm trying to think of like an argument to say like why he could win Nasruddin Imavov. Like he just, man, I think he gives me like skinny vibes. Like I want to see them face to like kind of next to each other, because I don't know. I feel like he is kind of like too skinny, bro. I feel like Chimaev's gonna like body him in a way. I don't know. That's what I think. That's what I think when I think of the matchup. But Nasruddin Imavov has looked good. He lost against Sean Strickland many years ago, but like since then, I think has kind of, to be honest, like I would be curious to see how a rematch against Strickland would go at this point. I'm not saying, I don't know who I think would win that, but it definitely don't think it would look the same. I think that Imavov has improved a lot since that period. So I do think that I don't know if I think the biggest threat is RDR still, and I just think he was injured today, guys. Though who else is there? Fluffy. Fluffy's a good shout out. Fluffy is also another guy that could cause problems to Chimaev. Just making sure, guys, my audio is good now, right, guys? Like, by the way, I just want to make sure. Let's see. I saw another question. But who? Yeah. Okay. So, heavyweight, light heavyweight is a mess in my opinion. Does Pereira move up and challenge Aspinall? Is that the fight to make? I personally, my prediction. So, it seems to me, obviously, I think it seems clear as day to everybody. Alex Pereira, light heavyweight champ, wants to move up to heavyweight. UFC probably don't want him to move up. Why is that, guys? Why is it, once again, that the UFC don't want to make the biggest fight that will generate the biggest noise for fans? Because they don't want to give up a popular champ. That is why. They don't want to give a popular champ that could sell pay-per-views. It is a lot more, better for them if they have Pereira fight. And look, well, let me finish this thought and then I'll get to that. It's better for the UFC if they have Pereira win 3 times or fight 3 times even, whatever. Main event 3 pay-per-views. You get Topuria at a main event, let's just say 2, 3, let's hope. Get Islam to, do another 2, 3, well, probably 2 in this case for Islam. That's what, like 8 already out of the 13 you need filled. And then you have just those names alone. And you have, what is that, like 5 spaces of pay-per-views that are empty. And you could, then put like Merab as a headliner, which that's a decent headliner, Merab. That's not bad. Who else gave a Volkanovski? That's not a bad one too. And you're also, because you have so many superstar champs, you're going to have really stacked cards now with multiple title fights, because, you don't need those title fights to be stretched to headline. So that once again is why we're not seeing Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira, why the UFC doesn't want it to happen. But hey, bless, I restarted my YouTube. It's not cutting out anymore. Okay, but that's good then. All right, I was worried for a second. But what do you call it? Why don't they want to make Pereira versus Aspinall? Because they would have to have Pereira vacate the title. Maybe, they probably want to give Magomed a title shot, but maybe it's Olberg versus Yuri, and Olberg wins, and Olberg isn't the most interesting guy, or he's just not as known, obviously, as Pereira. Yuri winning wouldn't be so bad, I think, in my opinion. But if you get Pereira to go up a weight class, fight Aspinall, I think, is someone that can be a popular star. I think Aspinall, unfortunately, is, I think, because this whole John Jones thing, because John Jones refused to fight him, and John Jones held his career up for years, with negotiations going back and forth and shit like that. Like, he has suffered so much because he could have been, I think he's going to wipe every heavyweight out. I think. Like, Aspinall is like, I think he's gonna go down as a legend, honestly. I think he's gonna destroy Cyril Gane this weekend. I think he's gonna destroy every heavyweight. I think the biggest threat to him was Sergey Pavlovich. Seriously. And I know that's crazy to say now, but I seriously do think so, because of his power. That's the only guy. And even then, it's like, I don't even know. Like, you need more than power to beat Aspinall at this point. He's too fast. He's too fast. He's powerful himself. So I think they want to build Aspinall as a champ, and they want Pereira as a champ. Now, let me actually answer your question and not spend 7 years on it. So does he actually move up? So we established UFC don't want him to. Pereira wants to. I think it will happen. I actually do think it's going to happen. I think that Pereira is going to say, how could you say no to this guy? Pereira has main evented so many pay-per-views for them. He has fought so many times on short notice. He has helped the company so many times. Even winning his last fight was a huge help for the company. He is in great graces with the UFC and has done nothing but help them, have been amazing to them. It is literally like, you would literally have no excuse to not do it, unless you say, hey buddy, we know you did all that, but we don't give a fuck. Get packing. That's what it seemed like to me. The vibe was when Dana White was talking about it, was I really don't want to do this, but I don't know how else we're gonna get out of it. Basically, like, it needs to happen. The fans want it. Aspinall wants it. Pereira wants it. Even though we don't want it, it's not the worst case in the world, because let's be honest, Aspinall isn't a huge star. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Maybe if it's Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, we did see recently Alex say he doesn't even want to fight Aspinall. He wants to fight John Jones, but he also said he wants to move up. So, I mean, I guess he knows that John Jones is down to fight him. Will that headline the White House card? That would be huge. Like, and that's what I'm saying. That would be a huge fight. And that's what I think the UFC should strive for. Is I definitely think there is a balance. I think there definitely is and I want to stress that because I've talked about this before. They definitely do need more of that. And I definitely am also sick of, let's move up a weight class. No, stay in a weight class, defend your title, have fun fights, establish yourself in the weight class. I'm curious to see these guys' journeys as they keep defending their title, as they keep going through different contenders. Oh, well, how would he do against this guy? How would he do against this? Like, we keep seeing. I like that, But we don't see it because, number one, it's super competitive. It's hard for long-reigning champions to even exist. But also we see it because guys want to move on to the next thing. They want to go to the next weight class. There's tons of moving. There's tons of, and there's never just a clean, except for Merab. Merab's really like the only guy to say, hey, I'll fight anybody. I want to defend my title a whole bunch. And I'm good with that, and that God bless him for that. God bless him for that, and there definitely needs to be a mix of that. I think that Topuria, to have him stay a lightweight, don't let him move anymore. Don't move up to welterweight. For Islam, if he loses at welterweight, move down a weight class. Even then, honestly, I wouldn't even be against him staying at that weight class because, simply because, I think that he would just do maybe better after, maybe, getting used to that weight class. But at the same time, I don't know if he could easily go back down. Why not? Maybe he thinks that's a better move. Why not? But I think even then, maybe he should probably like get used to welterweight, because I don't know. I'm worried for him against Jack Della Maddalena, given what I think we talked about it on a video, I think. And maybe I'll do another video on it because I definitely want to get deeper into that actually. And I think it's an interesting topic to talk about Islam Makhachev, and him, going up in weight, because it to me, I have bad vibes from it just because of Islam, how he's looking. I think he's just, I don't think he's taking the proper time to build into 170. So I think his cardio is already not known to be great. I wonder how it's going to be against Jack. I think Jack's going to win. I said it. Boom. I think Jack's winning. Shout out me. But, like, I wouldn't mind. I got into a long ass thing once again, but just to say, like, there needs to be a mix. Yeah, have these guys consistently headline pay-per-views. Have 2-3 guys that will consistently headline pay-per-views, but try at least twice a year, once a year, have these massive mega events, these massive mega fights. This year you could have had, like, 3, arguably. You could have tried, I don't know, Conor McGregor, I guess you probably couldn't have done. Maybe that's argument. Maybe could have been if they worked on it early in the year. Who knows? That would have been a massive fight for the company. You could have had Ilya versus Islam, fumbled from the company. Could have had Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. However, I will say that is not the UFC's fault, just because, the UFC, the UFC did actually give John Jones the money. It was John Jones who said, nah, and basically, you can't pay me anything. I don't agree. And I'm not doing anything. So he pulled out of the fight and pulled out of the deal. So that wasn't really on the UFC. They actually got the fight done, and then it was undone. So, you can't blame them for that as much, but Islam Ilya is definitely a fight you could blame them for, I don't know. I think that, maybe the UFC are in a building stage right now, and we'll see it really pop off is kind of my thing. John Dong asked, are you a movie guy? And Shiv says, Jack will put you on to some great movies, not going to lie. So, I definitely am a movie guy, but I definitely think for me, I definitely say, though, and especially recently I've been saying, like, I'm definitely more of, like, a horror guy. Like, I feel like I'm not, like, as much well-known in, like, all movies, but, like, horror guys for sure. Which UFC fighter would you invite to the rotation? I would invite, But oh wait, well I assume you want to. Well, I'll see if John Dong wants to ask me what movies there are, but I'll circle back. I don't know why. I assume you have a follow up, or maybe not. But which UFC fighter would you invite to rotation? I would probably invite. Who's some of my favorites? Definitely Ilya. Conor McGregor for sure. Come on, we got to get Conor McGregor in there just because like he's a fucking he's a character, you know, like we need to get down to like, yo, what are you like, what's been going on, like what's going on with you, like, you know, there's so much mystery there. So yeah, those are two that come to mind. You didn't give me a number, but I'll do, I don't know, is there another one? I'll say that Kevin Holland would be cool too, but I did talk a lot of shit about Kevin. No, did I talk a lot of shit? No, not really. I talked actually a lot of good things about Kevin Holland, so maybe he will be happy to be invited to the rotation. So yeah, let's do it. I was defending him with the whole nut thing. I think he got done extremely dirty in that whole situation. I agree. JDM will win. Having Craig Jones in your corner is a game changer. Yeah, I mean, we saw with a well, I don't know if it's necessarily as much as a game changer. I mean, it definitely helps though. You know, I think that like having a good like dangerous ground game, especially helps with the scrambles. We saw that with Charles, but no one will ever match Charles's ground game. But you know, he would use, when Islam will get out of the guard of Oliveira, he'd use it to sweep, get up, boom, If I don't know if JDM is going to be that slick, but JDM definitely I think will cause some issues. The game plan is definitely Islam going to try to, take him down. I heard I'm a hard guy instead of a horror guy. I was thinking, the fuck movies you think we was talking about? What the fuck? Nice. I'm a big horror fan. What are your most favorite horror movies? That's funny about the hard guy, by the way. No. You're like what, tough guy movies or different type of movies, if you catch my drift. But my favorite horror movies are, and this is a very good Halloween theme. That's what I heard too, but I assumed he said horror. I did say horror for the record, guys. I was saying horror. But I'll be more clear. But I said, I'm a horror fan. I watch like a lot of like new, like recent horror movies. I'm trying to think. Let me think of a few good ones. One of my favorite, I love Hereditary, is a good one. Talk to Me recently that came out is a good one. There was another one that came out recently that was really good. That I talked about on stream one time. Some recently. It was one about like the school and shit that they Weapons. Yeah. Weapons was good. That was a fire movie. Shout out. Have you seen The Thing? Yeah, of course I've seen The Thing. Yeah, that's good. Shout out The Thing. Yeah, no, I've seen The Thing. I mean, this is a good thing to be talking about this, because it's like, there's a lot of good, like a lot of horror movie suggestions that, I've been watching. I've been watching Ed Gein. Shout out Ed Gein from Netflix. Netflix's monster show. Ed Gein, murderer. Very disturbing, bro. Very disturbing shit. Very disturbing. Watch Gunjiam Haunted Asylum, caveat, 2020, The Sadness, Lake Mungo. Those are the scariest movies in my opinion. Like, I'm literally gonna save this right now. And I'm gonna definitely look into this for sure. 1000%. Okay, and I'm gonna actually put your name down too, just so I remember you told me. But I think I'll remember anyway. I'm not a granny. Spell the abbreviation for pounds in terms of a weight unit. It's IBS? Actually, wait, is it IBS or LBS? I don't even remember now. Which one was it really? I think it's IBS for real, right? Did Mike Malott stock go down with the groin shot? He won, but they should have taken a point. Yeah, that's what I said earlier, actually. I was saying even himself, he didn't, and I said it briefly. I was saying, like, he himself didn't even get anything from the situation, because it looks like a fucking it looks like a bad win. It looks like a terrible win, and I'm laughing looking at the chat. We're gonna get to it in a second, but I said it's a terrible win. I don't think that that's a win where he deserved the win. I'm not saying he deserved to lose, but it definitely wasn't a fight where you look at that and like, yeah, that's a proper win, kudos to him, credit to him, he did everything he could, blah blah blah. Like, that's not what we all thought, I'm sure. Let's see. But yeah, no, so I think it did went down. I think it did go down a decent amount. It's LBS, bro. I think no. You're trolling now, because now I know because you did all caps, but I probably would have because that I know isn't right. Or no, is it? Wait. No, is it LBS or what is it, guys? I don't know. Can someone else tell me? I don't know if he's trolling. Well, I'm actually looking at myself in a second. Yeah, definitely. Let me know. For those guys that don't know, recently I got confused on the podcast. You guys gotta go check it out once again to get these inside jokes. But I just found out recently. Look, okay. I don't know what it is now, but IBS. No, IBS is wrong because that's the stomach thing. So it is LBS. Oh damn, you weren't trolling me. Damn, it was LBS. Yo, I thought it wasn't. Okay, so it's LBS, right? But I thought it was IBS. I was spelling IBS with a capital I. So and it's lowercase L, so I didn't know it was a difference. You know what I'm saying? I just thought it was that. But apparently it was. So, but I do want to address this. John Dong, have you ever seen Thanksgiving? Yeah, Thanksgiving, John Dong, you have to watch. He is right. Like, this is probably the greatest movie I think that there's ever been. And I feel bad actually now because he gave me some legit fire movies. But I gave him some legit fire movies too, so he can mix that one in. I have not actually gonna look it up. Don't be confused with Thanksgiving that came out a few years ago. You're going to want to look for Thanksgiving, the movie with the killer turkey, just to clarify. Let's see. He couldn't even finish Holland. Yo, for real. Yeah, no, that was really bad look too. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he didn't even finish him. He did almost finish him at the end with that arm triangle. But no, he didn't even get the finish. I definitely think his stock dropped. I was actually ranting about Mike Malott in the beginning of the stream, Alden. You missed it. Like, I was saying, like, bro, I don't fuck with Mike Malott. And I even said, like, we could settle it online or in the ring type shit. That was what I was saying. But nah, not really. Well, I mean, at this point, like I've said it, I gotta be standing on business. But, like, I can't back down. But no promises I would win. But I'm just saying, well, yeah, no promises. I mean, like, I'm not winning. But you know what I'm saying. What do you think is the most overrated movie of all time? There's definitely some I'm trying to think of. There's definitely some that's going to be good to fit this description. I don't know, but there's definitely a lot of overrated movies I'm going to think. Thanksgiving is probably bad, like enjoyably bad. Shit, that's fine. I'll still watch. Or another horror movie I would recommend on YouTube. It's free. It's called Horror in the High Desert. It's a slow burn movie, so the last 20 minutes are the scary part. In my opinion, it's worth it. That's like another movie I saw. Another like horror movie I saw, or that was like, I forgot what it was. I think it's like The Invitation that's like that as well. Does Allen winning mean Imavov is for sure? I do think so. Yeah, I think for sure. Unless, I mean, what's coming up? Is anything coming up next? Don't think so. No. Imavov, yeah, I think Imavov is a happy man tonight. Imavov is the big winner because he's probably gonna fight Hamzat. I would assume. I don't know. Q1 of 2021, 2026, not 2021. What the fuck? 2026. Have you seen Joker 2019 and Interstellar? I thought those movies were extremely overrated. You're talking to the wrong fella, because I love the Joker movie. I thought Joker 2. I thought that Joker 2019 was very good. Didn't mind even Joker 2. I didn't even think that was that bad. But Joker for 1, I thought was really good, to be honest. But I've seen some people say that they don't like it, but. Let's see what else. American Psycho is hella overrated. Yeah, I agree with that actually. The Hostel films are pretty good. Hostel, yes, I think I have seen that one. Even the direct to video one. I think that was one I did see, the Hostel direct to video. I think so. Oh yeah, and answer Interstellar. What the fuck is that? Interstellar. Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see Interstellar, but yeah, actually, we did see Joker together. Shout out, and we both love Joker. I love Joker. That's a good shout. I saw American Psycho, but I didn't really like it. Yeah, that is a really good shout. That is like a on the nose. And I feel like a lot of like the Oscar movies can be overrated. Like I find like a lot of times we're looking at it like, yo, come on, for real. Like this ain't representative of what is what the best movies are. This is what the machine is saying the best movies are. Type. But I mean, yeah. I mean, I think most people think Interstellar is a weaker Nolan film, but I don't think it's overrated. Yeah, but there's a channel on YouTube called Dave Talks Too Much, and he talks about why he thought the movie is overrated, and he makes a lot of interesting points. I would recommend that video. The movie Psycho kind of sucks. I fuck with those movie. I used to fuck with those movie channels hard back in the day. I haven't watched any in a minute, but I mean the ending. of American Psycho. Yo, John Dong, thank you, bro. People always fight me on having it. American Psycho gets so much love for having characters that are designed to be bland and insufferable. Yo, that is. I've seen people talk about it like it's one of the best movies of all time. I mean, honestly, I feel like I've heard a lot of people say it's overrated, to be honest. So I think that's why I said it was a good shout, because I actually have heard people say it before. Like I felt like this is like a prime example of, yo, this movie's overrated. If you're gonna point to a movie, that's that, you know. But I am gonna wrap up in like 5 minutes, guys. So, or not even like a few minutes, because it is getting late and I'm tired now, and my throat is actually, more importantly, it's really my throat, bro. I don't have a drink right here. I don't even think I have a drink in my house, so I gotta go to like the faucet or something like this. It's crazy. So I might have to do that in a second, but so ask anything. Ask anything to distract me so I do not get my drink and end the stream. That's what we'll do. But what other some good movies? Like good horror movies, like I said, I think this year had a lot of good horror movies. I think horror movies, they're growing, they're being better. Hey yo, what was going on with your throat? Hey yo, why are you being paused, bro? Like, I'm just saying I'm thirsty, and y'all are making this, or Shiv really just making this out to be like, oh no, like I'm being sus. I'm not being sus. Not at all. Like my throat is just dry. My throat is just dry, guys. What honestly, I want to also get guests on the stream. I want to get like guests for sure. Like, yo, I gotta get people on here like, yo, interview with Francis Ngannou type shit. You know, I don't know. I just thought of Francis Ngannou. Shout out. I wouldn't mind, but Session 9 is the best horror movie. Sounds familiar. Don't know if I've seen it. I also thought it's very on the nose as well. It's like one of those, someone says poor people are clowns, which I thought was forced. One part someone says poor people are clowns. I mean, I was like, what, like an allegory or whatever the hell? Yeah, what I will say about Joker is that it's one of the few movies, I mean, very few, like usually I hate that shit, that I excuse a lackluster story for great aesthetics and performances. I don't know. I don't think that it was a lackluster story, you know, for Joker 1 especially. I just realized John Dong was talking about it. I was being on the nose and stuff. Oh wait, I sent another chat, but it's on the top of the chat. But it's on the live chat, not top chat. What the fuck is this? Oh, there's a difference? What the fuck? What the hell? I didn't really like Joker. I thought the writing was lazy. Like everyone said, Arthur Life is a dick. Everyone in life is a dick to him, and that's what leads him to snapping. Thank you guys for telling me this, by the way, because I didn't know that there was a difference. So I thought, like, that's why I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, okay, so I guess that's why sometimes I don't get chats or whatever. Like, because sometimes people will be like, oh, I wrote this. I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't get this. Like, what? But okay, I see. Yeah, what I will say about Joker is, oh, no, yeah, that's what I was saying was, I think it was a good movie. What do you think about the new Predator being rated PG-13? I've never really gotten into the Predator stuff, like Predator movies and all that. Like, I think at the end of the day, if a story is good, it's good. I don't really understand, like, I don't understand necessarily making stuff PG-13 in terms of, like, oh, I want to get more people in. Like, I feel like, yo, R is like, yo, like, people want to see the R movie. Nobody wants to see, oh, PG-13. Like, come on. Kids are going to sneak into the R movies. Come on, you know that shit's going to happen. So, you know, kids are going to see this anyway, you know? And I feel like if strive for that, I feel like you get more clout being an R movie nowadays and saying, yo, I'm an R-rated movie. I don't give a fuck if kids can't see me, you know? Like, that gives you, you know, a street cred and all that. But yeah, I think I've been talking for way too long, guys. I'm going to end the stream. I do appreciate you. I'm disconnected, I think, on top of it. Yeah, I think I'm disconnected. Oh, no, I'm back here. Okay, guys, I'm here. So this is what I'm saying. Perfect time to end the stream because I'm probably going to start cutting out. Yeah, who cares about it being R when everything is on streaming after 6 weeks anyway? Exactly. Yeah, I think that's like the most like back then type, like backwards. Not back then, but backwards thinking. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here, guys. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all, all y'all that tuned into the chat. I also want to give a shout out. Oh, fuck, it's not here anymore. Who donated? Mac something, Mac someone. I don't know. Oh wait, no, I could look here. Mac 209. Shout out Mac 209 if you're still here. If you're not, shout out to you anyway. You're a G. If you're watching this back, if you watch this on YouTube after the fact, shout out to you. Bye, Shiv. Probably never see you again. And shit. Or I'll see you on Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. See you next Tuesday. If you catch my drift. I spelled a bad word. That was a joke. But see ya, John Don. Good talking to you. Join the Discord, all y'all. If you're not, especially if especially if you want to submit stuff for next stream. I didn't react to anything this time actually, but we'll do that on Monday. Remember every Monday we stream about 10:30 Eastern. This time probably 10:30. Actually, I might even start. Who knows? Don't want to say earlier because I said that this stream and I started late, so we'll see. All right, guys, I'm gonna see y'all. Peace out. Love all y'all. Much love. Deep from my